Hello lovely people, welcome back to another book chat. Okay, so we've got something a little bit different for today because I was going to talk about kind of the weird things that you do as a kid, not completely unbook related, but one of my things was I was really into rhymes, and you might remember I did a Robert Louis Stevenson Child's Garden of Verses, and I read a couple aloud from that, which is, I still absolutely love those. They're so sweet, and the sad thing is I can still remember quite a lot of them as well, because I was really into this when I was a kid. I loved rhymes and poems and things like that, more rhymes I suppose they were, and so like with The Hobbit, and The Lord of the Rings as well, I got very into trying to memorize all the stanzas of the dwarf song from The Hobbit. And I think I got most of the way through it. Those ones I don't remember, but I can still remember the road goes ever on and on down from the door where it began. Now far ahead the road has gone, and I must follow if I can, pursuing it with weary feet until it joins some larger way where many paths and errands meet, and whither then I cannot say. Which is why I can't remember things like, you know, whether we've got enough milk in the house, or whether actually I did wash my hair yesterday or if it was the day before. I cannot remember any of these things because my head is full of useless poems that I learned when I was like this big. Which, yeah, it's kind of a weird thing to do. But yeah, then when I went to school, obviously we studied a certain amount of poetry, and over the years I've sort of picked up a few books from there. So one of them, Whitman, we studied a little bit at uni, in my first year of uni, I think. And I've just really loved the book. I just thought it was so cool, a Signet classic. It's just beautiful. So I was like, well, I have to have it anyway, and at some stage I'll read all these poems. Yeats was the other one, because that one was from at school, and I remember really vividly the Wilfred Owen poems, war poems, were just so strong, so powerful, and quite, I found them very affecting. I think possibly that's why I've still got little snippets of them that I remember, but I didn't quite memorize them as well. And then obviously Yeats, because what teenager wasn't kind of a little bit obsessed with the gyre, or was that just me? Can't remember all of it, luckily, but yeah, there was that image, isn't it, of what rough beast its hour come round at last, slouches towards Bethlehem to be born, and, you know, the blood-dim tides loosed and all that sort of thing, and it's, yeah, of course I loved it, it was amazing. And then How, which I also encountered at university, and I love the energy of it, it's incredible. And having read On the Road eventually a few years ago, I went back and I got hold of this so that I could reread it as well, because obviously they were contemporaries and spent quite a lot of time together, Jack Kerouac and Allen Ginsberg. So yeah, but my poetry knowledge is really limited actually. That's pretty much it. You know, it's kind of like Child's Garden of Verses and How, and not a lot in between. So what I'd be really interested to know is, A, were you also a weird child, and did you memorize random poems out of books? Because I'd like to know I'm not alone in that. And if so, what do you still remember, and how do you then remember important things in life when your head's full of old poems? Because I'd quite like to know that as well. And then the other thing that I'd love to know is, do you read poetry now, and what sort of poetry, and where do you find it, and what would you recommend? I actually signed up for the Poetry Foundation daily poem a couple of years ago, and every now and then I do get around to reading them, and they're often fantastic, but the problem is that half the time it's just in my inbox along with 100 other emails, and I just go, oh, I don't have time, and I just delete them all. So I'd be really interested to know what sort of poetry books you've found really good, what sort of poetry you really enjoy, and yeah, just a few suggestions would be wonderful. So yeah, let me know below, and thanks again for joining me. Bye!